So I just want to introduce our guest here, Tamia Scott. She has joined us thankfully today. She's a marketing, you're the marketing director, right?
Correct.
Yes. Can you tell, I'm Gabrielle from ActivePipe. I'm the marketing director, but really I'm just here to learn. So Tamia, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, so I'm the marketing director for Dilbeck Real Estate in Southern California, LA area. I've been with Dilbeck for about 4 years, a little over 4 years now. I've been working in marketing and real estate for 18 years. I started off in San Francisco with McGuire Real Estate, and then I was with At Properties for a good amount of time. I was there when they kind of first were getting off the ground. I think they were about 1.5 years old when I joined. And so, yeah, and now I'm here in California at Dilbeck. So
Fantastic. So you've had a long career. What are some of the things that have changed in real estate over the time that you've, really noticed a big movement in?
Oh, from 2002 to now. Just technology and of course, that's the biggest change, kind of streamlining a lot of the procedures and processes within the real estate transaction through technology. So that, I think that's been the biggest change and really the best change.
Yeah, and have you seen that move even more recently with the changes?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, so especially, agents who were a little apprehensive about technology, just last year, let's say, now are, forced to embrace it, and now are seeing that their fears, they didn't need to be so fearful, and it's not so bad. So, yeah, we have agents who are, I was really nervous about, doing things remotely and using all of this technology, and now I see that, I had nothing to be afraid of. It's great. So yeah, so we are having a lot of people adapt, because they have to, but that's kind of a good thing.
Yeah. So, previously, I think a lot of branding for real estate was done in print and with postcards. Let's just dive right in. What is a brand? I mean, how would you even define that?
So, yeah, especially for real estate agents, a lot of times they don't think of themselves as a company. So, your real estate business as an agent is your personal company. And so brands, companies are usually referred to as brands. So if you think of it that way, you think of yourself as kind of Real Estate Agent Inc. So, that's like your name Inc. So that is your company. And so, your brand, your business is your company, which is your brand. And so your brand represents your values, your business values, your beliefs, and the overall experience that you provide to your clients. So, that is your brand. And it's important because it's how people perceive you, and how they perceive your business, and how they perceive the services you provide, as well as how they feel about the services you provide.
That makes sense. Yeah, it seems like even the bigger brands are tying their names to who they are, Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg, Bezos, even those big brands, they're tying their personalities and their actions to what, who they are as people and what they do for business.
Yeah.
And that's
so
powerful for real estate.
Yeah, absolutely. And part of our conversation that you and I had talking about this, this discussion, it was, there's so many people who, want to get involved in everything that's going on with the inequality and, and injustice, and supporting the movement, but are fearful of saying the wrong thing, and so that's kind of how you and I kind of decided on this, don't say, do. So beyond beyond making a statement, make meaningful, take meaningful action. And just as you were just saying, there are a lot of brands out there that are doing things. And I have actually two that I wanted to highlight today, because I just am so excited about what they've done. So one of them is a Black-owned brewery in San Antonio, Texas. And there aren't very many Black-owned breweries. And so he really felt compelled to, kind of do something, just kind of like your viewers and your clients, to do something with this movement. However, he was a little fearful because, one, that kind of that industry of breweries, is not very diverse. So there's right. So and his clientele, he said, was mostly middle-aged white men, and so he felt like he had to tread lightly with whatever he did. And so what he decided to do was to kind of call on all the other breweries in the country and Canada, and I think in other parts of the world, but to call on them to create a stout. And he named the stout Black is Beautiful. So it's Black is Beautiful beer. And then he created a logo and it's like a sticker to put on the bottles or in the cans. So he created all that. And so he got about 900 or over 900 breweries to participate in this. So I just think it's fabulous, and it's, breweries all over the place in all different areas of the country, areas of the country that may be more, not as red. Some are very red, some are very blue, so
they all have beer in common, right?
Exactly. So it's great. So for everybody watching, if you want to take a look, it's blackisbeautiful.beer, so .beer. So I mean, it's fabulous. So they released the beer on, I believe, July 4th or July 3rd is when it was released. And so so I feel like that's such an amazing way to incorporate your, wanting to support this movement into your business. And not only did he do that, but he got all of his fellow brewers to participate. And so each one of them are so all of the proceeds from the sale of the stout are going to each brewer's specific charity of choice. So the guy who started this, he's donating everything to the Colin Kaepernick Foundation, the Know Your Rights. Mm-hmm. So he's doing that, but all of the brewers have chosen their own different organizations to support and to donate the proceeds to. So I just think that that's fabulous.
Yeah, first of all, yay, because it's beer. But what I really love about that, always pro beer, but what I really love about that is that he didn't just do something for himself, but he empowered other people who maybe felt similar to some of us, some of the people on this panel, even myself, wanting to do something, but not quite sure the right way to act, and really laid that pathway so that they knew what to do. Yeah. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's great. And then the second company I wanted to highlight is an ad agency called Wyden and Kennedy. And they are the ad agency behind Nike. And one of the founders was actually the person to create the Just Do It slogan, which is pretty cool. So they created this post, and they have it on their website. And I just am pulling up here so I can read it really quick. But they did a post on Instagram, and it is now their homepage of their website. And I'm just going to read just a little bit of it. But so it says, Black Lives Matter. And then it says, there is nothing controversial about this statement. And it says, if you do not support this sentiment as an employee, you should find somewhere else to work. If you do not support this sentiment as one of our partners, we do not want to be affiliated. If you do not support this sentiment as a client, we gladly support you finding another agency. So, and there's more, but like that's the key. And so, I have to say, when I first saw that and I first read it, I mean, I was in complete shock, so I was like, wow. And I read it again, and I was like, wow. And then it made me feel so great. And I want to explain why, because that's like the equivalent of being in school, in grade school or whatever, in 6th grade, and having a bully, right? And then having the cool kid, the most popular kid, or the cool kid in the school come and stand up for you to the bully. So like this was, I mean, this is so fearless and so 120% in, that it's so in and so fearless that it's like unbelievable, right? And so,
Right.
so it's kind of like feeling like, wait, I can't believe the most popular person in school just came to my defense. I can't believe this cool person just came to, you know, to support me and to keep the bullies away. So I mean, that the fact that they kind of were able to create that feeling, even with me, and I know with other people, that's the feeling you want your brand to you know, to have, you know, to for people to have. Because now I'm like, if this agency were a toothpaste company or a they sold laundry detergent or, you know what I mean, or shoes or purses, yeah, they would be my toothpaste of choice. They would be like laundry detergent of choice, you know, so they really would create a lot of brand loyalty from me, because that message is just so powerful and just so definitive. It's not, you know, kind of, sort of, maybe, kind of. I mean, it's really all in. And I chose these two especially because one is like super like, we're fearless. This is what we're saying, period. And then the other, you know, the brewery, he was like, God, I wanna help, I wanna do stuff, but I'm a little apprehensive as to how my customer base is going to respond. And so I think that I think most people have that fear, just like he had that fear. And so I think that it's important to be authentic, you know. And so for him, you know, especially because he is a Black man, you know, his feeling was, I'm a Black business owner. He had his own personal experiences with police. And so he just felt like he couldn't not do anything, but he did something in a way that felt good for him, that, you know, honored his feelings, right? But then also, you know, was still respectful of, you know, everyone else, you know, so he created something that everyone could get on board with. So I just like kind of these two companies, kind of the difference of, you know, having a little bit of fear and then having no fear at all. Right. So it's kind of amazing.
So you can do something and you can act in a way that's authentic to yourself, and there's a wide range of what is available in that, is what you're saying.
Right. Exactly. Yes, because the ad agency, again, the ad agency is not a Black-owned ad agency.
What's the name of the ad agency? Vanessa.
It's Wyden and Kennedy, and the URL is wk.com. So yeah, wk.com. So they are not a Black-owned agency. Two white guys, middle-aged white guys. So, but they, you know, for them, they were like, I'm taking a stand. Now, you know, to be fair, they've taken a stand before. So when Black Lives Matter even happened, you know, when it started in 2016, they did something similar because one of their employees was a Black male and sent out an email about how, you know, he just was feeling, you know, all kinds of emotions based on police brutality that was happening at that time. And so at that time, they posted the email from their employee as their website. You know, so so they're not strangers to this, but this message is from them and is very much, you know, taking a stand. You know, but again, everyone can't be isn't as fearless, and that's okay. You know, so everyone doesn't have to be so 120% in like these guys are.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say one more thing with them too. They do have their employees created a resources page on their site that has a list of all kinds of books, movies, organizations, webinars, all kinds of resources for the movement, if anybody's interested. If you go on their site, it's called Committed to Fighting Racism is the section where you can find all those resources.
Yeah, that's been something I've been trying to do for me and for my kids and for the kids around me is, you know, just upping the education. I feel like sometimes there's all the heads turn to the one Black person, and I called you, so hello. Hi, thank you for helping. And we need, we do need that leadership that some people are willing to give, but not everybody should or needs or wants to be in that role. So the best thing we can do is just educate ourselves, and I think that's true across all, everything. We all can use a little more education in that area so that we can maybe not ask as many questions, and also maybe answer some questions for other people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the load. Yeah,
absolutely. So I wanted to share some things that your audience can do to incorporate their support for the movement into their brand. First and foremost, just again, want to start with being authentic, right? So, and to me, what's authentic is meaningful and consistent action. So it's more than just, making a statement and then, okay, I made that statement, now let's go back to whatever we need to do. It's doing things that are meaningful and meaningful on a regular basis. So that's first and foremost. So the second thing is, just a core values. So most companies, businesses have core values. As a real estate agent, again, you are your business. And so you should really create your brokerage probably has core values, but you should create some core values for yourself. So you should kind of think about, what are my core values? Because remember, we talked about that a brand is comprised of, a company's values, beliefs, and all of that. So for your brand, identify what your core your values and beliefs are for your business. Because at the end of the day, as a real estate agent, you are being of service to your clients. So what are those core values? So I would kind of look at that and identify those if you haven't already, and then also see where you can maybe incorporate things about standing against injustice and inequality and all of that. So figure out how to make that part of your core values. Next is education and awareness, right? So let's just go to the easy part, NAR. So NAR has a sensitivity course called At Home with Diversity. And it's a certificate course. So you can get that course, you can get a certificate, and then you can also get continuing education credits with that course. So definitely do that, and make that part of your profile, on your website, and that's part of your bio, that you have been certified in through the NAR At Home with Diversity course.
That's an easy one. Everyone needs CE
super
credit.
easy. Just go do it. And it's not even so expensive either. I think the class is like $100 or something like that. So that's a super easy one. And then NAR has all kinds of fair housing resources. Something I found that maybe this is something to talk about, but NAR does not, at least that I could find, NAR does not have a fair housing course where you are certified or designated. So there's no fair housing designation. But imagine imagine there was a fair housing designation, right? And so as an agent, you can say, I've been I have the designation that I am an expert in dealing with fair housing, or making sure that fair housing is upheld. Imagine all of the people who would be like, I only want to work with an agent who has that fair housing designation. right? So if only that existed. So I don't know how to make that happen.
Maybe we
I
all
don't know
need
if it's
to write in after this. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I might actually do some research on that to see how to make, because I just think that would be a wonderful designation to have, some type of, but maybe there's some legal things that make it not possible. I don't know, but I'm definitely going to maybe do some more research. So those are two things. And then I don't know, back to the diversity, I'm sorry, the sensitivity course, the At Home with Diversity. I don't know if you saw in the news recently that I guess Texas Association of Realtors decided to stop using the word master for master bedroom and master bathroom. And it's funny because when I first saw it, I was like, didn't even occur to me.
I never thought of it that way. Yeah.
Was never offended, never thought it was a problem, so I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And honestly though, what I say is every initiative or gesture or whatever is appreciated, in my opinion, so even though calling a master bathroom or bedroom never was a problem for me, and I don't know, and I appreciate the effort, but so John Legend is just a singer, John Legend.
I know.
So he responded to that, right? And he said, the real problem is realtors don't show Black people, I'm reading it, show Black people all the properties they qualify for. Fake problem, calling the master bedroom, fix the real problem, realtors. So, I on one hand, like I said, I'm like, I never thought it was a problem, but I think, so I brought this up to say, getting that certification, helps fix the problem. When he says fix the real problem, that certification and learning about sensitivity and, becoming an expert in fair housing as much as you can, that helps fix the problem. So, yeah. And then another is under education and awareness. It's, increase your knowledge and awareness of Black people, of Black community, of what's happening, of what's going on. So you can follow Black activists and educators, on your social media, books, movies, like I was mentioning earlier, that's the ad agency, they have this whole list of things. And then also, make some friends, like build intimate relationships with Black people. If you have no Black friends, how do you understand anything? Of course you don't. There are things that, because we're all just human, right, that, that you understand, but, usually, the misunderstandings happen because there's a lack of awareness and a lack of knowledge. And so it's kind of, you have to build intimate relationships with people to get to know them. So I know it sounds kind of like make friends with Black people, but it's
well, make friends. Yeah, no, I actually agree with that a lot. I want to call out Zane here. Hi, Zane. Thank you for coming.
Oh, I love Zane.
I know. He said Tamia is awesome. In her experience, is there anything that stands out, either consistently or specifically, as examples of brands that are acting with good intentions, but fail in delivery or sensitivity of message as it pertains to Black Lives Matters?
Well, I think that happens a lot, right? I think that has happened.
Right. Intentions are good, execution, not so much.
Exactly. I think there's no one in particular that I could or would call out, but I do think that does happen a lot. I think good intent. What's that saying? Good intentions, something kills somebody, or I don't know. There's a saying, but yeah, I feel. But again, when I was saying before with the master, I can appreciate the effort. I appreciate the effort as well, as long as the intention was sound and good, and you just kind of expressed it in a kind of not right way. but so I think that people should, not worry so much about, getting it wrong, as long as the reason, what they're trying to say, and that their intentions are positive and to make a positive impact and to affect positive change.
Right, because everything's a learning opportunity, right? Even when you're getting it you know, maybe slightly wrong, if you have the right intentions and you have an open heart to hear and listen, then,
Yeah.
you know, maybe you'll learn from your errors and maybe other people will too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm good at making mistakes, but I learn a lot from my mistakes. My wins feel good. That's great. But it's my mistakes that move the needle for me as a person.
Yeah. And
So
it goes back to being authentic too, because if you make a mistake, just say, I screwed that up. Like, that's not what I meant for.
yeah.
I didn't mean for you guys to interpret it this way. I screwed it up. You know, I'll try to do better next time. Yeah.
And
You
that
just,
should be part of your brand too, shouldn't it? That you're, you know, a person and willing to grow, because who can't relate to that?
exactly. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Another kind of tip suggestion I had was connecting with your community. I mean, and that's just, you know, getting involved with local organizations in your area that support and serve underprivileged or underserved Black communities. You know, helping to kind of build that equality, you know, helping keep people get on firm footing and, you know, kind of have an equal shot. So there are lots of organizations that in all kinds of, you know, in all cities that support the Black community and support kind of helping elevate Black people in their communities.
Right. And as real estate agents, you know, people are always trying to get out there and make new connections and make new friends and make new people, you know, meet new people.
Yeah.
So, you know, it is self-serving in addition
Exactly.
to, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then my last thing that's really kind of really for agents for their branding and specific to them. So here's some things that you can do. So you can include Black vendors on your preferred vendor list. So you have a preferred vendor list of painters, you know, whomever, plumbers, include Black vendors. You know, so of course some of this is going to be work. You're going to have to put in an effort. So you're going to have to research, because if you don't already have them, you don't know them, you're going to have to find them, and they for sure exist. Right? So find Black vendors that you can include in your preferred vendor list. Purchase closing gifts. So if you give closing gifts, purchase closing gifts from Black-owned retailers.
Yeah.
Also, if you know of you know, Black-owned businesses that you can help promote, you can share space on your marketing, so on your postcards or your social media, your email newsletter. So share space to highlight or feature local Black-owned businesses or causes in your area. So it's kind of just sharing some of the space on your advertising and marketing.
And that goes hand in hand with make a friend.
Yeah.
Right? Make a
Yeah,
friend. Exactly.
Right.
You know, I was thinking about that vendor list. I think I mean, what do you think about this as far as being a leader in your community, creating a list and sharing it with other real estate agents?
Absolutely.
You know, I was inspired by the brewery.
Yeah.
You know, be a thought leader in your community, because I think that really is powerful too. You can affect change, but how much exponentially can that grow?
Yeah. Yeah. So those were all of my, I actually did have one other thing. So did you hear about, I meant to even email you just separately about Share the Mic Now. Did you hear about that campaign?
No.
Okay, so on Instagram, there is a campaign called Share the Mic Now, where white women who have large Instagram followings gave over their Instagram account to Black women activists. And it was okay. So like Katie Couric gave her account over, Julia Roberts, Glennon Doyle, and so it's just, you know, amazing to listen to those. So not only would I suggest everyone on here, if you just go on Instagram and find the hashtag Share the Mic Now. You have to say now, because I think there's another Share the Mic, but Share the Mic Now. You should find all of these these Instagram interviews and stories that they all did. But then in addition to kind of just hearing that stuff, because it's a lot of good information, maybe do something similar.
Yeah.
So maybe there's something you can do similar on your Instagram account or on your Facebook account.
I love that idea.
So that would be just a great thing to do as well.
Yeah.
So that's it. I'm done. I have nothing else.
Well, I think that was a lot. That was really helpful. It is really meaningful to me when people take their time to share their knowledge, because I think it's hard. I don't want to speak for every woman on the planet, and I imagine you feel that way too. But it really helps me when people share their experience and share their knowledge, and it takes a lot of bravery to do it. And I appreciate you doing it. Really, you spent a lot of time putting that stuff together, and it's really helpful. I am going to watch this back, and I'm going to write up those notes and put it on the blog, and it's going to live, on activepipe.com, so that you guys can come back and see it, and I'll email it out to all the attendees as well. We've gone over a couple minutes. Do you have a couple minutes in case there's any questions?
Absolutely.
All right. Let's see if we answered every question. Sometimes we do a really good job. So, everyone has stayed on to me. Sometimes we see people drop off right when we hit that 30-minute mark, but you have kept them enthralled. So great.
I'm glad.
Yeah, I'm really impressed. And I can't wait to have you back. See, I'm going to invite you publicly so you can't say no, because I would love to hear, you had so much marketing experience with real estate. I would love to get some of those tips from you. So I'll email you, and we'll set another time and see if I can talk you into coming back.
Okay, no problem.
All right. Well, it looks like they might let us off easy today. I know.
Okay.
I know. Well, you just did a great job. But sincerely, thank you so much. And thank you to everybody who came and joined us. We really do appreciate that you want to be part of the conversation.
Yeah.
And keep the conversation going, right?
And honestly, and I guess maybe I'll close by saying, like the Black-owned brewery guy, where he just felt like he had to be brave and just do it, so that's combining both, right? Be brave, just do it. So, I think that's what it boils down to. Like, if you have it in your heart and that you want to support and, help try to make a difference, then you just got to be brave.
There's a couple questions that came in at the 10th hour here. Does Tamia do marketing consulting to individual agents outside her agency? And if so, how do we get her contact info? So, are you launching a new business, Tamia?
I mean, I could be persuaded for sure. I actually have done some consulting a little bit in the past with smaller brokerages. When I say small, like 2, 3, 4 people brokerages, so really small teams. So I have done that before, but sure, anyone can reach out to me.
And they can find you on LinkedIn, right?
Yes. Yeah. Find me on LinkedIn.
Okay. And Amber said, thank you to me. I found this really helpful, and I'm going to attend the At Home with Diversity. So that was really inspiring.
Great. Yeah. Thanks, Amber.
Yeah. Thank you guys all for coming today. Still, even at this point, every single person's still on. Kudos to you.
Wow.
So,
thank you.
Great. Yes. Lots of thank yous coming through.
Oh, right. Thank you guys.
All right. Well, we will have Tamia back if I can talk her into it. Lots of pressure for that, guys, right? Yes. All right.
I'll do it.
All right. Woo! All right. Thank you so much. And I will send out the webinar with the tips on it and everything, so you guys can review that, and we'll keep the conversation going.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.